Member from Ottawa Centre.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is for the Minister of Community and Social Services. Speaker, I'm concerned about intervener services funding for those that are either deaf, deafened, hard of hearing, or deaf-blind. As you know, intervener funding to community-based agencies is used to enhance communication between individuals who are deaf-blind and their community. For many, it is the only way they can communicate. Some have said that funding for intervener services will be cut by 45%. Through you, Speaker, to the Minister, is this true?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank the MPP for Ottawa Centre for his great advocacy on this matter. I want to be clear, we are not cutting funding to deaf-blind services. In fact, since we came to office, funding for deaf-blind services has more than doubled. We are investing more than $20 million this year. I rejected, and I repeat, I rejected the proposed funding model for intervener services in the fall of 2010. And this decision was also communicated last fall to the stakeholders. While this proposed funding model will not be implemented, we do need some type of funding model in order to allocate resources in a fair, transparent, and sustainable manner. The system that our government has inherited was unfair. Funding was allocated by chance rather than by need. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Commentary.
Thank you, Speaker. I know people who receive these services will be relieved to hear that no cuts are being made, but in fact that funding has increased. Quite frankly, those that are intentionally misleading people into thinking that there are cuts must stop. When someone's ability to communicate is dependent on these services, the last thing they should be is fearful of losing that service for someone else's political gain. Moving forward, it is important that our government works with the deaf-blind community for any future consultations. Through you, Speaker, to the Minister, how are you working with people who are deaf-blind and the organizations that provide these valuable services?
Speaker, several years ago, my ministry established the Intervener Stakeholder Advisory Group. Some of these organizations include Deaf-Blind Ontario Services, the CNIB, the Canadian Hearing Society, and the Canadian National Society of Deaf-Blind. This advisory group has contributed to the development of our developmental services transformation plans, the assessment tool, and of course, the funding model. I have regular meetings with these agencies, individuals and families in the deaf-blind community. In fact, I will be visiting one of these agencies later this week. As we move forward and work towards finalizing a funding model, we remain committed to continuing our consultations with individuals, families, and agencies that support people who are deaf-blind. I hope that this miscommunication will cease right now. I feel for the parents that are being so upset about this false communication. Thank you.